In this video, I'm going to present the Milton taper number 6 to ER32 collet adapter that I made several months ago anyways. We're starting out in here because originally this was recorded as part of another video showing some of the modifications I did on my lathe. That was getting too lengthy and I needed to edit it out, so I'm making it a separate video. So here it is. Okay, so next I'm going to show you the tool that I was talking about. Let me get this out of the way first. So this is a part that I'm working on. I'm actually making an arbor for my mill for doing slitting saws, possibly gear hobbing. I don't know if I'll get into that, but it's a possibility. And various cutters and such. I've been looking at them and figured it's a simple enough part. I should be able to make one. So actually what I'm doing here, this is 20 millimeter. It's going to work with my 20 millimeter collets that I typically use in the mill. I opted to do that instead of doing the taper because, well, for me to do the taper is a lot more challenging for one thing. And I don't want to have to keep changing the Milton taper out on there. It's a bit of a pain to do it. It's a lot simpler to just change a collet and jam this in there and go. If I was doing really heavy work with a bigger mill, yeah, it might be worth it to have it on the taper, or if you're using an R8 or whatever type of setup that you have on your machine. But I'm doing mostly lightweight work on there. It's a smaller machine anyway, so I don't need something that beefy. 20 millimeter and an ER32 should be fine for anything that I'm going to do with this. Get my boards out before I take this off. I've got a good place to set it down without marring anything. So the tool that I made, I'll go into this a little while, I'll remove this. It uses the MT6 taper that is inside the spindle in here, and then converts that to an ER32. And the way I did it, I've got a pass through, it goes all the way through. It'll accept up to the 20 millimeter diameter, which is the largest collet for ER32, and it'll pass it right through the spindle. So I can feed stuff right through and work with whatever length I need to work with. So before I go and install this, I gotta clean out the inside of the spindle where the taper is. Anytime you use this, if it's been used at all for anything beforehand, or even if it's been sitting for a while, you want to clean that out thoroughly, because it doesn't take much to damage the seating surfaces in there. And where this is, what's going to be your most accurate tooling to hold your work, you definitely don't want to damage anything in there and get any kind of nicks or bumps or anything like that that'll throw the centering off of the tool as it goes in. So I'm going to pause for a minute while I clean this out. Okay, so here we go. This is the tool. This is the taper part. and that's MT6 or Milton taper 6 from here to here. This is the ER32 collet, the outside part, and the inside there. And then I've got it threaded on the back, and what I do is I've got a piece of pipe that I made, and it's threaded on both ends, and this runs through the spindle, and it's hollow so the work can pass through. So that'll screw in there. And on the other end I've got a nut that I made, custom made to fit this. So that screws on this end, but after you've run it through the spindle. So essentially what happens is this is a drawbar that will pull that into the Milton taper and get everything seated nice and good. I should note you don't want to over tighten this. You just want to get it in so it snugs up and stop there. Otherwise you're going to have a job getting this back out again, because it will jam in there. When I first tried this out, I went a little tighter than I probably should. And I had to really go at the other end with a rubber mallet up against the end of this. So let me feed this in here. Actually, I can leave that right in place. Okay, and I'm going to swing around, we'll see the other side of this. So here we have the back where the spindle comes out. And I can show you inside the door here as well. So that's what it looks like in there. There's a spider here if you use it. And that's the end of that taper. But for what I'm doing, I can leave the door closed on this. It will just barely fit. So once I tighten this up, what it's going to do is tighten up against the back of the spider. And it's got a seat in there that'll fit right in there. And that's probably about as tight as I want to get it, actually. So the last step, we got our ER32 collet and the collet closer, or the cap, and we're just going to insert that. And loose the start. And exactly the same mounting I'm going to have in the middle behind us, and that'll just go in like that. Yeah, we're good to go. Everything nice and straight, because I'm not micing it right now, but when I do the real work, everything will be measured out. But I've checked the run out on this before, and the setup is definitely tight. I'm going to do just a little handheld so you can see this close up. So I just want to mention the reason this sticks out so far in here. First of all, it's part of the original spec of an MT6 taper, but also I have a dog plate that goes on here. And when I originally did this project, I was thinking I was going to use the dog plate as a spindle guard, but after talking with the folks at Precision Matthews, because I had concerns about running it at high RPM, and they said I was probably correct that it shouldn't run that fast. They said it probably shouldn't go over about 600 at most. And obviously with this setup with a small collets, you're going to be running way faster. So I'm not using the dog plate as a guard on it at this point. It's really not necessary because it's so far back from your work. You'd have to really screw up pretty badly to get up in there. But you know, it's nice to have something covering things there, because you don't want any kind of nicks up in here. I might possibly make something up just real lightweight and simple just to slide over there. I'm not sure. In the meantime, I'm just going to run it as it is.